Something strange is happening in Russia. Millions of people are buying candles. But this isn't about romance or decoration. This is about survival, and the government doesn't want you to know why. It started 3 months ago. Quietly at first. January 2025. Candle sales were normal, then something changed. By March, it was a frenzy. We spoke to a store manager who agreed to talk anonymously.
They come in groups, always cash, never credit cards. They buy everything we have. Candles, matches, lighters, then they disappear.
The pattern spread across the country. St. Petersburg, Novosibirsk, even Vladivostok. But when we tried to get answers from officials, no one would talk. For weeks, our investigation had hit a wall, chasing shadows in data that led nowhere. We were about to shelve the story. Then, late one night, a breakthrough arrived from an unexpected source. It wasn't a formal leak, but a single encrypted message on a secure server. The sender, Prometheus, claimed to be an engineer within Rosenergo, the state energy corporation. Their message was brief, laced with fear, but also urgency. They were risking everything. The message was cryptic. The stockpiling isn't what you think. They know what's coming. The candles aren't for light, they're for heat. Our initial reaction was skepticism. Candles for heat? In a Russian winter where temperatures plummet to -30? It sounded like a prank. But the source's profile felt genuine. And then we remembered, heat. The word had been a ghost in our data for weeks. We'd seen spikes in online searches for alternative heating methods. Chatter on closed social media groups mentioned preparing for the cold. We had dismissed it as seasonal noise, but this message cast it all in a new, ominous light. Still, the logistics seemed impossible. We consulted a thermodynamics expert. A standard candle generates only 80 watts of heat. To warm a small room, you'd need 20 candles burning at once, constantly. For a whole winter, a family would need thousands. It was utterly impractical, a desperate, futile measure. The idea was so absurd we almost abandoned it. But we had to be sure. Our open-source intelligence team began tracking candle sales. What they found was staggering. This wasn't just stocking up, it was a coordinated nationwide surge. We found receipts for entire pallets of candles. Online retailers were completely sold out. The numbers were astronomical. This was a population quietly preparing for a total failure of their heating infrastructure. Prometheus had given us the what. The data was showing us the how, but the terrifying, unanswered question remained. Why? Why would millions of ordinary Russians suddenly believe they needed to prepare for a winter without state-provided heat? What did they know that the rest of the world didn't? The answer lies not in a single act, but in decades of slow, creeping decay. Russia's aging infrastructure. A vast, sprawling network of power grids and substations, much of it a relic of the Soviet Union. It was once a symbol of industrial might, but years of underinvestment and diverted funds have left it brittle and dangerously overstretched. Across 11 time zones, power lines built in the Soviet era are now pushed far beyond their limits. They weren't designed for today's climate extremes or the surging demands of a wartime economy. Now, they are failing. Equipment failures are increasing at an alarming rate. Transformers explode, substations short out, and each incident sends a shockwave through the fragile system, pushing other aging components closer to their breaking point.
We're in a constant state of triage. We're patching problems faster than we can find permanent fixes. We're using cannibalized parts, improvising solutions that are temporary at best. The system is failing. Management tells us to keep things running, but they don't give us the tools. Every winter gets worse. The cold puts more strain on the grid. This year, the internal models show multiple points of catastrophic failure are likely. This year might be the breaking point.
And behind closed doors, the government knows it. Leaked footage from a high-level energy meeting shows grim-faced officials discussing not repairs but contingency plans. Our sources have verified accompanying documents stamped classified. They don't talk about preventing the crisis, they talk about managing it. The documents mention rolling blackouts on a national scale and strategies for civilian preparedness, a chilling euphemism for controlling public unrest when the power goes out. But publicly, officials remain silent. No warnings, no explanations. A complete information blackout designed to prevent panic. While the Kremlin stays quiet, citizens are not waiting in the dark. On encrypted messaging apps and social media, A grassroots intelligence network is buzzing. They share information in whispers and coded messages online, mapping outages, trading tips on generators, and preserving food. It's a digital samizdat for the 21st century, a population preparing for a crisis their own government refuses to acknowledge. The whispers are growing louder, fueled by fear and a deep-seated distrust of the official narrative. While official channels offer reassurances, a different story is unfolding in the shadows. But there's something the government isn't telling us. A truth buried under layers of bureaucracy and carefully worded press releases that suggest everything is under control, when the evidence points to the exact opposite. Our sources, deep within the corridors of power, speak of a palpable tension. They confirm that emergency meetings have been happening for months, convened at a moment's notice in undisclosed, secure locations. These aren't routine policy discussions. They are crisis sessions, shrouded in secrecy. And at the heart of it all is a highly classified initiative, a name whispered only behind closed doors, codenamed Operation Winterlight. The name itself is a chilling premonition. Simultaneously, we've tracked unusual activity on the ground. Night after night, military convoys are moving heavy equipment to undisclosed locations. These aren't troop movements, they're logistical operations on a massive scale. At the same time, a suspicious number of power plants have been mysteriously going offline, all citing routine maintenance. But the timing and scale defy coincidence. It's as if pieces are being strategically removed from the board, weakening the system before the game has even begun. We managed to speak with someone who claims to have been on the inside. For their safety, we have disguised their voice.
This isn't about maintenance, it's about control. They're not just preparing for blackouts, they're planning them, orchestrating them. It sounds insane, I know, but the models, the projections showed a complete breakdown, a point of no return, a cascading failure across the entire grid. Not hours of darkness, but weeks, maybe months. No power, no heat, no communications, a total system collapse. These are controlled shutdowns, a desperate last-ditch effort to prevent that.
While the government plans in secret, the private sector is also showing strange signs of preparation. Official data reveals that candle production has inexplicably increased by 400% in the last quarter. But it's not just candles. We've traced massive, unpublicized orders for generators, batteries, and long shelf-life food rations. Emergency shipments are moving under the cover of darkness, bypassing normal distribution centers. You might see the effects yourself. Stores restocking essential supplies before dawn, only to find their shelves stripped bare again by noon. This isn't just consumer panic, it's a coordinated, silent stockpiling effort. When we cross-reference the dates of the plant shutdowns and the logistical movements, a disturbing picture emerged. But we noticed something else. A pattern in the timing. It wasn't random. Every action perfectly aligned with the latest, unreleased meteorological forecasts. Forecasts that predict the coldest winter in decades is approaching. A brutal polar vortex is set to descend, bringing with it record-low temperatures that will grip the nation for an extended period. And when those temperatures drop, power consumption skyrockets as millions turn to electric heating to survive. This is the critical vulnerability they're terrified of. Our national power grid is a patchwork of dated technology, stressed to its limits even on a good day. And aging infrastructure simply cannot handle the unprecedented load of a historic cold snap. We spoke to a former grid engineer who laid out the nightmare scenario.
It's a domino effect. One substation overloads, it trips the next one and the next. It's called a cascading failure. You're not just fixing one broken part, you're trying to reboot an entire continent's worth of interconnected systems. It's a task of unimaginable complexity.
The plan, Operation Winterlight, is designed to prevent this catastrophic domino effect by choosing which dominoes to knock over first. A calculated sacrifice. The question is, who decides who gets left in the dark? Our investigation suggests the crisis is imminent. As temperatures continue to drop, power demand reaches critical levels.
It's not a matter of if, it's when. Days, maybe hours.
Those who know are making final preparations. Entire neighborhoods already living by candlelight. Cities preparing for what officials won't acknowledge. A simple candle has become a lifeline, while those in power keep their lights on. As we finish this investigation, breaking news emerged. Emergency services responding to incidents at multiple power facilities. Social media reports of rolling blackouts beginning. but official confirmation remains elusive. Government officials continue to remain silent, while millions of Russians continue their quiet preparations. The candles are gone, the winter is here, and the truth remains in the shadows. This story is still unfolding. Subscribe to stay informed about what happens next.